My mother told me to postpone my spine surgery because it clashed with my sister's wedding weekend, so I rescheduled something else instead. 6 months later, when she needed $30,000 in a hurry, she found out exactly what I had canceled. They sat me down at the kitchen table like it was a routine favor. Mom folded her hands and said, "Your sister's wedding matters more than a surgery date, sweetheart. Just push it back." Dad did not even look up from his crossword. "You will heal whenever," he said. "Vanessa only gets married once." I waited for someone to laugh. Nobody laughed. I had a herniated disc from a warehouse ladder fall, and I had spent 5 months collecting referrals, physical therapy reports, and one very clear warning from my neurosurgeon. "Wait too long," she told me, "and the nerve damage in your left leg could become permanent." The surgery had been booked for 14 weeks. My husband Marcus had arranged his leave. My insurance authorization had finally come through. Then Vanessa got engaged and chose her venue. It only had one open weekend that year. Mine. I said, "I cannot just move spinal surgery." Mom sighed. "So your sister's big day is not important to you." Vanessa crossed her arms and said, "You have always needed to be the main character." I sat there with a numb foot and a folder full of MRI scans, being told that surgery was my attention-seeking hobby. For 3 weeks my phone did not stop. Mom cried. Dad left voicemails about how families make sacrifices. Vanessa sent paragraphs about how guests would talk if her only sister was not standing next to her. Not one of them asked what my surgeon had said. I gave in. Not because they were right, but because I was exhausted. The next available slot was 15 weeks out. When I hung up, Marcus asked one question. "When have they ever moved anything for you?" I did not have an answer. The wedding was beautiful if you were not standing where I was. Dad told anyone holding a champagne glass that he had spent $42,000 getting every detail perfect. I made it through the ceremony on nerve blocks. At the reception, I winced reaching for a water glass, and my mother leaned in and whispered, "Please do not make that face in front of the photographer." That whisper did something the months of pain never managed. It made everything simple. I did not blow up. I just stopped. Stopped calling first. Stopped driving over every time Dad's laptop had a virus. Stopped floating Vanessa a few $100s every time her card bounced. Stopped auditioning for a family that had cast me as the difficult one. Marcus noticed within a month. "You seem lighter," he said. I finally had the surgery 15 weeks late. Recovery was slower than it should have been, and my surgeon told me I was fortunate the leg came back at all. Fortunate was not the word I used. Life moved on. We finished the nursery because by then I was pregnant, and our savings had one purpose now. Our own family. 6 months after the wedding, Mom called on a Friday afternoon. Her voice was small. Dad had put nearly all their retirement into a friend's can't-miss development deal, and the friend had vanished with the money. Then her gallbladder surgery bills had arrived. They needed $30,000 just for a while, she said. "You have always been the responsible one," she added like a coupon she was cashing in. I looked across the room at Marcus assembling a crib with an instruction sheet in his teeth. I thought about lying on my side at my sister's reception because sitting hurt too much. I thought about, "Please do not make that face." I said, "I am sorry." Mom exhaled with relief. "So you will help?" I said, "No. Our savings are committed to the baby, the mortgage, and the medical bills we are still paying from a surgery that waited 15 extra weeks." She whispered, "We are your parents." "I know," I said, "and your daughter's delivery date is more important than your emergency. You taught me exactly how this works. I am just following the family priorities." She said I was cruel. Dad called me ungrateful. Vanessa called Marcus a bad influence, which made him laugh out loud from the nursery. I wished them all a good night and put my phone on silent. Here's the part nobody expected. They figured it out. They sold the lake cabin. Dad went back to consulting 2 days a week. Vanessa, for the first time in her adult life, actually helped and refinanced her townhouse to cover the hospital balance. They did not drown. They just finally carried their own weight, the way I had been quietly carrying mine for years. When our daughter was born, I sent one photo to the family group chat. Mom replied with 3 hearts. Dad wrote, "She is beautiful." And that is where we are. Not close. Not at war. Just honest finally about what reschedule really means.